appreciate you, obviously, again. First,
Yeah,
also joining kind of this morning from the West Coast. So appreciate you starting the
yeah,
morning kind of with me right now. To your point, right? Long time coming. Been in each other's paths for a very long time, and always just
yeah,
appreciated your journey for sure. So thank you, bro. Thank you for the time. It's always appreciated, as I respect everyone's time. Everyone's busy, right? You're a dad, which is a big part of kind of what we want to talk about kind of here, right, in that journey for you. But to even set the
yeah,
stage there, right, I've been trying to challenge myself to have more conversations about fatherhood with people like yourself, kind of about about the meaning, about how we do it well, how you do it
mhm,
also while you're trying to pursue growth on your end, financially, physically, mentally. So to hear that story from you, I think is going to be very important. And then also, I think that you have a unique perspective. You're a super creative dude, right? You obviously are. You're passionate. You're creating businesses, right? You're creating content. You're creating a lot of things, and then also seems like you're also a very good dad, brother. So
mhm.
can appreciate you from the outside and what you're doing. To kick it, I would love to hear a little bit about, because and this is I think what makes even your fatherhood perspective a little bit
Yeah,
different. You've been able to be in fatherhood in two different seasons, right, of your life. So I think
yeah,
maybe at one point was probably your early 20s and now your early 30s, right? Would love to hear kind of the difference for you and what that perspective has been for you, and kind of the challenges and what you've seen be different in those two different stages.
yeah. I mean, first and foremost, I appreciate that lawfully intro. Yeah, it has been a long time coming. We've known each other for a very long time, and we're both on similar paths. So I appreciate the time. Getting the opportunity to jump on with what you're building, and happy to be here. But to answer your question, um, I had my first daughter at 26, and I had my second daughter. My first daughter name is Jade. Then I had my second daughter Harlow. She's now 14 months, so I had her at 36. So 10-year gap.
Yeah.
The first one is always a you're trying to figure it out, right? you're like,
Still.
oh man, what is
Yeah.
happening right now? I'm 26 years old. I'm trying to figure out life. I have no idea what I'm doing. One thing that helps me out is realizing that nobody has it all figured out.
Yeah.
Like when it comes to the content, it could look good. You could post the highlight reels. You could do all the post production editing and whatnot. But like nobody has it all figured out. And I was a mess at 26. I had the opportunity to play sports at a young age. I played sports my entire life, so that instilled like the discipline and the structure in me. So like that's been my foundation for every single thing that I do. And luckily, like carried me through. 26, I was partying, I was drinking, I was clubbing, I was doing all the things that a 26-year-old would do. So I had no like purpose in direction to being a father. Now I think in my position now as a father, I kind of played that game already. I realized that now I have a purpose, and now I know all the mistakes that I made back in the day. I don't need to make them in my as I'm 36 years old now. So the second one is kind of like you live through your past, and then now it's time to like really push your future.
Yeah, I love that. Do you
Yeah.
think there's anything you're intentionally doing this time that
hmm
you didn't do last time, or that you're able to kind of capitalize on because you have this wealth of knowledge of actually going through it, right, 10 years ago?
Yeah, yeah. I stopped drinking.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that right off the bat. I stopped drinking alcohol, and not saying that alcohol is bad for everybody, but in my experience, it just wasn't good for me, and it was something that really like set me back a little bit during that time. I was 26. I was young. I went to college. Learned to drink in college, and that's not the best place to to
Yeah,
learn how to
there's
drink.
a
Some
lot
bad
of that.
habits.
That's happening. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I was kind of going through life and trying to like figure out the direction I wanted to go, and then that kind of became like a crutch for me. And I realized just looking back, like that was a big part of the reason why I didn't advance as fast, I guess you can say, as I wanted to. And so now, and then I did like the research too. I was like, I'm going out every single weekend. I'm drinking. As I'm getting older, it takes me 3 or 4 days to recover now.
Yeah.
Post 30, bro,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
takes
Yeah.
some time to recover.
Yeah.
And I was like, if I'm doing that every weekend, that's like 15 days out of the month that I'm recovering. That's like 6 months out of the year that I'm recovering. there's no way I could like advance that way. And I'm just speaking off of personal experience. There's no way I can advance like that way. So once I put that to the back burner, like things just changed for me. And then falling back on my athleticism and being an athlete and just being disciplined and staying in the gym and focusing on mind, body, and spirit. That's how I was able to and continue to be able to. I mean, be a present father.
No, I really, I appreciate that perspective because I think I see it almost on two ways. Like I wear a Whoop every day,
Yeah.
right? So,
Yeah.
and I haven't completely quit drinking, but the
Yeah.
amount, like you're saying, going to college and being an athlete, you're around it a lot. So
Yeah. Yeah.
the amount that I do drink now is a percentage, right? And
Yeah.
it's maybe a couple glasses of wine, right, on a weekend or something like
All
that.
right.
And then if someone has a birthday party out a little bit later, but those nights where I have to be out later or like right I'm out and I'm saying this is the night where I'm going to be out, like the next day my I struggle one because you're trying to recover, and then the
Yeah.
attention I can even give to my kids in the morning, right? Like it's low,
Yeah.
right? So like
Yeah.
I've actually pulled back a lot because of that after being a father, because I said I don't want to give up those mornings, right, where my
Hmm.
kids are up at 6 7. They don't care that you went out or you did something the night before, and you
No.
still want to be able to give them attention, right? You can't sleep on the couch now all day, right? You gotta get going. You gotta do it. And then even on the other
100%.
side, like I'm getting the data from a wearable, right, and now it's actually telling you like you did something terrible to yourself yesterday, right?
Poison your
Like,
body.
and you're expecting yourself to go out for a run right on this
Yeah.
Saturday morning or this Sunday morning. It's just like, right, it's not going to happen. So
Yeah.
like it multi facets, right, of just like information just telling me like, all right, this is probably not something that's conducive to the lifestyle you're trying to live, right, for
Yeah. I mean,
myself and for my kids.
yeah, and back in the day, you were able to do that, right? Like playing football in college, you drink the night before, and then you'd be able to go run a couple miles the next day and be
Joke.
fine.
But I actually
Post 30?
remember times where we would go out, right? Say you have a game on Saturday, you go out that night. Sunday, you're in for film and weight room, and
Yeah.
at 6 7 in the morning, like it didn't matter. You didn't even feel it. Like I'm shot
100%.
now.
100%. And then yeah, and then like young too, I DJ'd. So I was in the club scene a lot. So I
Yeah,
was DJing. So I was getting back, I'm drinking and I was getting back home 4 or 5 in the morning. And then after having my daughter, like I gotta be present. And like
it's tough.
it was tough. So I mean it took me some time and not to say like everybody needs to quit drinking. I just wasn't responsible.
Yeah,
I'm one of those
but
guys that
that's
go hard.
yeah, exactly. Like yeah,
You know what I mean? Let's go
I go
hard.
I go harder than you. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like we
like
gonna go. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
We gonna go. So it just wasn't a good vice for me. And then I was able to take that and kind of like parallel it to like other things that get me hyped now.
I love that. What do you feel, I guess, having a child, right, 10 years later, that it almost gave you another opportunity to go in and do it? And not that to say that you had to fix things, but you almost got this opportunity to go do it with a new perspective.
That's a great question. I'm sorry if you hear my daughter running around the back.
No, we're good.
She's with grandma right now. Um, yes, I do think it gave me new focus because I was like, you know what, I get to try this thing again, and then now I'm equipped with the tools that I need to get to where I want.
Yeah.
Um, it That's what I'm looking for. It helped having my second daughter like really held me accountable to like realize that I have to practice what I preach because she's not she's young, right? You could tell them whatever. They're semi listening, but they're watching you and they're a sponge to every single thing that you do.
Yeah.
So now I know me knowing that and even training kids back in the day, like like you're the prime example of how they're gonna grow up. So now, that accountability alone like makes me like get up and like, all right, I gotta do my thing. I need her to see me working out. So I built a gym in the garage. I need her to see these things, me coming in from a run, sweating, like and enjoying it.
Yeah.
So it's not forced when it's time, it's just what I do and she knows that like this is what life is supposed to be like.
Yeah, I think that's a big part of fitness with our children as well. So I'm just seeing you do it and you enjoy it, not something you have to do, something you want to be a
Right.
part of your life, right? Because for
100%.
them, then they're going to grow up around it, right? They're going to want to do it with you. They're also going to understand that this is just something that we do daily. This is something that we do during the week because we need it to be better for our lives, right? As
Yeah.
opposed to them playing catch up and oh now I have to work out because there's something
Hmm.
wrong in my life, right? Because maybe I have a disease, maybe I'm overweight, whatever it is. Like no, this is
Yeah.
just something that we do. We move. right? I
We
love
move
that.
100%,
Yeah.
100%. And instilling that young, and you have the opportunity. You train athletes, you train kids.
Yep.
Like you see like the those athletic kids. Like a lot of that discipline comes from their parents.
Hmm.
To be honest with you, a lot of it comes from their parents, and then see, she's trying to get in right now. A lot of she's like, I want to be on TV.
Yeah, yeah. But
A lot of it
yeah,
comes from
listen, we could bring her in a little bit, you know?
their and I've noticed like training some of the top athletes, like either their mom or their dad is like gung ho on like fitness,
Yeah.
you know, whether they're runners, whether they're focusing on something to better themselves. And those kids see that.
As we
Kids
talk
see
about
that.
fitness, right? Like I've seen that it seems like you've implemented running into your life a little more, and I can obviously see that through kind of the content you're posting. I could imagine, right, as a former football player, it wasn't always running, right? It was more strength work, but how'd you progress into kind of starting to run, right? And even I'm seeing long runs, right? Like I think I just saw a 13
Yeah.
miler posted on your end over
Yeah.
there, right? How's that? How did that transition in? How did running kind of start to become a part of your life?
So I'm Haitian. All right,
Yeah,
soccer was my first sport. And my friends will tell you, like, I was always a runner. I was
yeah,
always that kid. Like before school, I'd run a mile or two and get on the bus, and then you know what I mean, and then start my day. So I always had that base. And my friends will tell you they hated that shit too, because like when we had to run on playing football, like
gone.
I would have to lead the runs.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean? And
yeah.
they're like, we gotta run with JJ, man, damn. So I was always a runner, but I was never into like the sport of running. So like as I got older, like right, we need new mountains, we need new NFLs, we need new NBAs to chase.
Yeah.
So running kind of became like my not only form of therapy, but like my new NFL. Like now because you're out there by yourself for the most part. It's a mental game, and it became like my new milestone to achieve.
For you, right, running can feel kind of like an escape. What's going through your head, right, as you're going for these longer runs? What's pushing you?
Yeah.
What's motivating you?
I wish I could like record just some of my thoughts. I think way better when I move.
Yeah,
So I get super creative on my runs. So like that's one reason why I love to run. I mean, nobody to go for a run like for the most part, nobody like loves it, right? I love it when after I get moving and then the ideas start flowing. I'm never thinking about one single thing. It's always so there's a lot of things, whether it be, my knee is hurting right now. Oh, why am I running this long? Oh, I really don't want to do this.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
I gotta keep moving. All of the things, but at the same time, it's kind of like where that creativity starts to flow. And I know, like for me, like I run on a treadmill here and there because I have to, but I much rather run outside because like no matter where I go, I got to get back. So it like forces me to keep it pushing.
love that thought.
Yeah.
How how do you kind of work with yourself to stay committed, right, as fatherhood calls, and you've got to do, right, maybe you've got it, right, your daughter's in the other room right now. You know, I know
Hmm.
I find myself sometimes struggling with, I have to get this workout in, right? This, for me mentally, I know I need 3 strength workouts a week, and I
Hmm.
try to squeeze 2, 3 runs in kind of when they can happen. But how do you try to stay committed, right, with your running or with your workouts, kind of as fatherhood's kind of calling on you as well?
Yo, it is hard,
Yeah,
man. It is hard. I am fortunate enough to have such a great support system. My fiance, we have a nanny 2 days a week, and then Harlow's grandparents watch her another 2 days. So I have a great support system, so
yeah,
that helps out a lot. But don't get me wrong, like there are times where I need to adjust. I gotta adjust whether I need to go to sleep later, get my running, go to sleep later, or just wake up earlier.
for sure.
Most of the time, it's wake up earlier. Like that's the cheat code. Like I'm from the East Coast, living on the West Coast now. I'm still running on a 4 a.m. schedule. You know what I mean? So it's that helps out a lot. I know for me, if I miss a workout, it's like I'm taken away from my family. That's how I position it because I need to be the best version of myself. I need to be as strong as I can mentally, in order to show up for them.
Yeah. I've always seen it as you've got to give yourself grace in this scenario, right? As a father with a child at home, but to your same point, there's non-negotiables. I know for me, at least from a mental wellness standpoint, right? Like
Yeah,
if I'm
yeah,
not
yeah,
hitting those 3 workouts, I know that I'm not showing up the right way, especially if they were scheduled. Like if I was supposed to
yeah,
go to the gym at 10 and it doesn't happen, I'm probably the worst version of myself at that point in
yeah,
time.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
so it's what it has been for me as well is now you just got to get up earlier because I know that you can't go in the afternoon Your kids are home.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
need to be there to help and support as well. And you also, those
Yeah.
lifts can't be long, or those runs can't be too long, right? Or
Yeah.
they have to be planned out appropriately. So
And
it's about time management, putting them in the right place, and those being non-negotiables for you. So you have to fix them in your schedule, right? Which is,
mm-hmm.
I think as men, like, that is what you have to do, right? Because you know you need it. You just make sure it's in the right place for you.
100%. Couldn't have said it any better myself. A
Yeah.
100%. It has to be scheduled. Like my long runs, wifey knows. Like those are Mondays,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I do it when the nanny's here. And but even so, I get up super early, and I'm usually back by the time they get up.
yeah. It's
But
which is
time blocking
crazy.
is like key. What's up?
No, which is crazy. Just as a young person that was also in fitness, right? You would just go to the gym when you could, and you would go for as long
Yeah,
as you wanted,
gym
right?
bro.
It just doesn't work like that anymore.
Hell no, I can't picture going to the gym at 7 p.m.
Yeah.
at night. Right?
No, it just does. Yeah, I don't even have, like, it has to be early for me. There's no evening. There's no evening workout or evening runs. Like,
Yeah,
it's literally, it's dinner, bedtime, bath, right? Like
yeah.
that sequence happens every night. You can't. Where you gonna? How are you gonna go for a run right now?
Every night, yeah. My fiance would look at me crazy if I went to a run around that
Yeah.
time. Yeah, right.
I'll even my wife. I started doing some longer runs. It's like I'm training for a high rocks, and like I'm like 5 miles in on a 6 mile run, and she calls me like, "Are you?" I'm looping back around the house, and she's like, Are you finishing or starting?" She's like, "You better not be starting, right? Because then you better get back, because I'm not sitting here with three
You gotta
kids all day,
shorten that up.
right?" Like, so I made sure I
Yeah,
finished that last mile quick.
yeah.
Yeah,
Man, I know it all too well, dog. I know it all too well. You have three now, right?
3. Yeah,
Three.
which
Yeah. Your
amazing.
time scheduling.
Right?
Yeah.
It's just you're just on, and you got to just make sure that, yeah, the schedule is
Uh huh.
is in place, and we try to support each other, right? On same way you're saying, she's going to the gym, I'll make sure I can be home and support, and vice versa, right? She's knows when I'm trying to go to a gym, or when I need to go out for a run, she supports
Mm-hmm.
and knows that we both need those, we need those things. But that free hour, those free hours used to have, gone, just wiped
Gone,
out. Like,
gone,
yeah,
gone. Though I'm telling you that just the early mornings are the best time, man. Even if you can get up a little earlier, like my man, he's in the same position. He's a 3 a.m.er.
yeah.
You know what I mean? He gets, yeah, I can't do the
No,
3 a.m.
I've
That's
been
too
trying,
hard.
like you're seeing even 4. Like I'm trying to, I try to get to the gym like 6 twice a week,
Yeah,
because I feel like a 5 o'clock wake up feels still like I slept through the night. Like 3,
yeah,
4, I feel like that's
yeah,
still last night.
yeah,
I'm trying to
yeah.
at least, like, and right now we
Yeah.
got kids waking up at night, so it's been a grind.
Oh yeah. That's tough. I'm a napper too. Like
Oh, there you go.
my
Yeah,
fiance will tell you, like I'll be in my office. I'll take a 30-minute nap.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know what I
Whatever we need to be productive, right? Like,
with it,
let's go.
and I'm good for the day.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? After that 30-minute nap, I usually crash around like 1 p.m. PT, take my 30-minute nap, and I'm good for the rest of the day.
How many hours of sleep are you getting though then at night? If, like, right, if you're throwing a nap in.
So my schedule, as you said, like it's pretty strict. Like, cooking dinner. Once we cook dinner, we got some time with the fam, and then Lo usually goes down around 7:30. We go through the bedtime routine.
Yeah, yeah,
The reading, the shower, get her in bed. I usually rock her to bed, and then she's usually asleep by like 8:30. By like from 8:30 to let's say like 10:30 is like me and wifey's time. We're just downstairs. Sometimes we don't even say anything to each other, but
yeah.
we're just in each other's presence, and we're just watching a show or sending reels back and forth to each other. And then we fall asleep down there, and then come up around like 11:30, and then sleep until about 4,
Yeah. So,
4:30.
like, that nap is needed.
Needed,
Yeah, yeah.
bro. Needed. And then Lo is waking up 2 times a night now. So I take the first shift, and then she'll take the second shift. So after the first shift, that's when I really get like my 4 or 5 hours to sleep.
It,
Yeah.
I've felt that the broken sleep is kind of the hardest thing. So, like,
It
you're
is
planning
so
to wake
hard,
up at
dog.
4, and
Yeah.
then, right, you're up with her at 12, 1 or something like that, right? Like, that has been the hardest thing for me to get through. So, like, I'm looking at the clock. I know I got to go see my son at 1:30 because he's got to go to the bathroom. But I know that I
Yeah.
want to wake up at 5, right? Like, mentally, I'm like, I'm trying to brace for not feeling great, right? At
Yeah.
5 when you're trying to wake up, just because now I have to put him back down. How long is that going to take? How long is it going to take
Yeah.
for me to get back to sleep, right? But I'm just like,
Yeah.
immediately, like, I'm like, close your eyes, go to sleep as soon as you can, right? Because
Uh-huh.
you got to be able to wake back up. right? To be
Yeah,
able to go get this
it's
workout in.
tough, man. And lately, as of late, I've been having a tough time getting back to sleep. So
Yeah.
I'll get up and jump in my office for a little bit, respond to emails or something like that, and then try to fall back asleep. But it's tough, dog. But I know if I don't get up early, like the rest of my day is shot.
Yeah.
Like I'm not gonna be able to meditate. I'm not gonna be able to have that time to like really like clear my mind. And so like that forces me to like, all right, get your ass up,
Yeah,
even when you're
yeah,
tired.
exactly. Do you feel like some of this, there's obviously a lot of structure in your life, right? You're meditating, you're running, you're working out. Some of this
Yeah.
mental resiliency that you're even building through running. How does that translate for you also to kind of being a father on the other end?
Great question. Shit, I'm a probably want to pay my therapist this month. I'll just pay you. um, One more time. Can you rephrase the question for
Yeah,
me?
just obviously you've built a lot of resiliency through your
Mm-hmm.
workouts and the structure that you have in your life,
Mm-hmm.
right? You're meditating, you're trying to make sure you're in bed at a certain time, you're waking up at certain times to do what you have to do for yourself, right? So you've
Yeah.
built that structure and that resiliency. Like, how does that translate for you, even just as a father, right? So now when you're a father too, right? Jade and Harlow, how's that coming
Mm-hmm.
through? The same way you're resilient for yourself. Are you? Does
Yeah.
that kind of come through on the other end for them and through the way you are being a father?
Yeah. It translate. It's everything. It's everything. And when I say it's everything, and that sounds cliche, it's like you live the brand, right? Live the brand that you want to be, and my daughters see it. So as a father, I'm able to. I'm there for structure. I'm there for guidance. I'm there to, protect at the end of the day, and they see it. They see that consistency. They see that discipline, and I like sometimes when they're like, "Oh, you're getting up again this early," and I do it, and because it's like what that goes a long way. Like they see it as they get older, they don't know, but like that's subconsciously like training their mind. So it is why I'm a father. To be honest with you, like it is the main reason. It's the only thing, the engine that keeps me going as a father.
Yeah, I love that's it.
That's
It's about modeling a behavior you want them to
that's it.
do as well.
That's it. That's it. That's it. I mean, kids, they're not really listening to you. Like there's what do they say? Like there's no lazy kids, there's only lazy parents.
Hmm.
So like at the end of the day, like I can't force my kid to go work out if I'm not working out. I can't force my kid to do something if I'm not doing it myself.
No.
So I know right off the back I have to live the brand, and then that discipline, that just waking up early and making sure I'm structured is only going to translate into that.
Yeah. With that, do you feel like they do understand your journey and your running and kind of how you're moving, right?
Hell no, not yet.
Yeah, yeah,
Not yet, but they will
yeah,
as
yeah,
they get older. It'll be that aha moment when it just becomes their lifestyle, and they're like I don't. This is who I am. This is who they are. You know what I mean? They don't know why it's who they are, but it is who they are. It's their lifestyle. It's what they've seen growing up, and now it's just embedded in who they are in their DNA.
yeah. I love that, and I agree. Even before you had a point about young athletes, and the ones that move best are the ones that have parents that were athletes, or at least weren't lazy and moved around with them, right? Because
Right.
just by proxy, they
Right.
moved their bodies more. They
Right.
were put into different positions that kids wouldn't have even seen if their parents
Hmm.
weren't running around with them or had them in their garage gym or took them out on a run, right? So now their
Yeah.
bodies have just had more experience to do these different things, and they enjoyed it more because they were doing it right with their parents as well.
100%. It's an ultimate bonding moment too. Like going for a run with your kid, like that's amazing.
Yeah, yeah,
you
exactly.
know, going to throw the football around with your kid, that's amazing. Baseball, hooping with your kid, and like they love it.
Yep.
Like there's nothing better. There's
How
nothing better.
how have you integrated them into kind of the workouts if you were able to?
So well, Harlow just started walking, but
Yeah,
Jade, she got some serious footwork. Like what I had her on the ladders like super
I
young.
love that.
You
Yeah,
know what I mean? So when she's here, she's part of my morning workouts. You know what I mean? She's gonna get into track soon, so just getting her form right. And she's been watching me run. She'll go on little runs with me, but she's a beast. And that's just because she's been doing it since she was born. She's been seeing it since she was born. You know, for her, like she's very cerebral, so like the team sports don't like click for her yet, so like the soccers of the world and basketball and whatnot, but more of the individual sports like track and like gymnastics are really good for her now because she just has that solid base from just working out young.
yeah. And this is even just from my own perspective, right? Your daughter's she's 10 now, right?
Yeah, yeah.
How how do you feel you're going about like guiding her into the sports she's playing or the activities she's even doing from a at least from a recreational sports standpoint?
Man, that's tough, bro.
Yeah,
Because like me as an athlete, I come from a
I
different.
know the
I come
sports I want you to play, right? But
it's tough. It's tough. Me as an athlete, I'm like, play it all. You know what I mean? And then get good at, and then figure out, start to niche down as you get older. But I try not to force it. I
yeah,
try to just keep it fun for her, and kind of like whatever she wants to do. Like, if you're gonna do it, like we're gonna go hard. We're gonna get coaching. We're gonna train for it. You know what I mean? But I'll let you choose. Um, that answer your question.
no, definitely, because that's what I've been seeing. I mean, my daughter's 5, right? And then
Yeah,
I know that there's still a long runway here, but
yeah,
I we go to soccer practice, and one day she's like, I like this. The next day she's like, nah, I'm good. I don't want to do this, right? So I'm
yeah.
trying to, but I want her to experience everything, right? In
Hmm.
our backyard, we've got right hockey sticks and a t-ball set, right? And so for her and
There
my
you go.
son, they're out there trying to do everything, right? And there
Yeah,
may be zero interest, and sometimes, and one day there's a lot of interest, but it's just how can I just get them as much exposure as possible and just get their bodies
right.
moving? Because I actually
That's
think
what
from
it's.
my own end, like I started just playing football and like
Hmm.
didn't play soccer, right? Didn't
Hmm.
didn't play t-ball, and it was just
Hmm.
I just wanted to play football. So I was like, all right, you're a football player. But I think
Yeah,
that some of the rotational moves I had to teach myself right
yeah,
later in
hundred
life
percent,
because you just didn't do it right. Whereas you can
100%,
build all that stuff into your kid kind of right away.
100%,
The
100%.
Tell me a little bit about right. So I think you've been doing a really good job and expressing the things that you're doing in your life through your content. Kind of
Yeah.
where did that was that always were you always kind of a visual person? Were you always kind of an artistic person in creating even content like that, or how did that? I mean, actually, I guess it connects to you said you used to be a DJ, right? You were doing that. I could imagine that creative process has always been a part of it. But how did that start? How did your visual uh, creativity kind of start?
Yeah, no, great question. So I'll preface it by saying I went to school for film,
Okay.
originally. So I have a film background, production, editing, all of that fun stuff. But I've always been a visual person. I've always been into music. Music was like my first discipline, I guess you can say, into like the creative world, turntablism, and just learning how to scratch and cut and blend songs together. And then that just kind of translated into video. I love beautiful imagery. At the end of the day, I love a scenic, a great scenic shot. Like when it comes, like moving out here to Oregon, like it is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful state.
Bet.
Um, and so I love things like that, and just kind of meshing that together with the music, kind of like brings me to like a whole new world, I guess you can say, right? So like my content is my creative outlet. It's not anything to make money or anything like that. I mean, if it makes me some money, cool, I'm fine
Yeah,
with
yeah.
that. But at the end of the day, it's just a creative outlet and just how I see the world and how I speak to the world. It's like, you familiar with that Japanese term ikigai?
No.
I won't even go into explain it, but look it up. But it's basically how I mesh how I see the world, how I want to make money, and how I want people to experience the world, and how I also want to give back to the world. If that answers your question.
Definitely.
Yeah.
How do you feel you go about showing the things that are happening in your life,
Hmm.
right? And kind of making sure that it's represented in a way you want kind of in your content. So you're right, the fitness content has been great. The fatherhood content has been great. How do you kind of go about even curating those moments kind of for yourself? Is that just as it strikes, or are you kind of planning out how those things are going to happen?
Yeah, no, great question. It's pretty structured.
Yeah.
Like my film background, like I'm pretty structured with how I lay out my content. So I have my pillars, right? My pillars are just based off my lifestyle. Because when I started creating content, it was like cringy trying to be performative and stuff like that. And it's like, I don't want to put this out because it's not me.
Yeah.
I realized like I fall into a couple buckets. That's fitness, family, faith, inspiration. And how do I show the world through those lenses? And instead of just creating content, I more so like document my lifestyle. Like I really do these things, and then me just documented having those shots documented, I could kind of put it together in this little like formula I have, right? So my formula, not to like give it away, is like I'm gonna have a I'm gonna have a talking head, or I'm gonna have a voiceover, right? That's gonna be one long take. I'm gonna get that done, and then I'm gonna take pieces from documenting life and just implement it into there. And then my structure is like hook, VO, uh, hook again, and then kind of like fizzle out. So there is a structure to it.
Do you feel like there's some balance between what you're creating there for online and for content, and kind of like what's happening for real behind the scenes?
Yeah, there is a balance. One reason why I love to create content is number one, it's a creative expression, and number two, it holds me accountable because like you can create your own life, right? Like in the movies, like you see these movies where a hero goes on the hero's journey and whatnot. Like that's been embedded in us since we were kids, right? Movies, you want to be like this movie star. We were in a time and place where you could actually create that now.
Mm-hmm.
So me just taking my life and putting it into content is just holding me accountable to do the things that I said I was going to do, and those things happen to be fitness, running, fatherhood, so on and so forth.
No, I love that. It
Yeah.
Documentation is a true form of holding yourself accountable, right? Because now
100%.
you've shown yourself to be this person. I love this saying that's you say these things, you do these things, you are that guy, right? So you
Yeah,
have
yeah,
to
yeah,
fall in line with these things that you're saying that you're doing, or
yeah.
right, people now you're losing credibility because you're showing these things you're not actually that person you're showing to be. And some people, they're okay with that, right? But if you have right the faith and the foundation that you're saying you do, you want to stay in line with the imagery that you're putting out for sure.
100%, 100%. It holds you accountable. You put it out to the world like that. That's a scary thing. You putting your art out to the world is super, super scary, and you don't
Yeah.
want somebody to point at you like, "Oh, he's a fraud. He doesn't really do that." I just don't want to live. There's people that do that. You know what I mean? It's super performative and fine. That's cool. That's what they do. But for me, for my content, it's more of like a selfish thing. Like this is what's gonna hold me accountable because I'm showing people this is what I do and this is what I actually need to do.
Yeah. I would never want to be portrayed as looking like a character, right, of
Hell no.
myself in my own
Right.
content, right? And I
No,
think that we're
not at
actually
all.
in the best time frame where people can be intentional about who they are,
Mm-hmm.
and if even if they're trying to grow a base or
Mm-hmm.
a presence, people actually want to see true, real
100%.
people online now.
Yeah.
So hopefully that
100%.
continues to grow from there, and we're seeing more content like that.
So important right now, especially with AI and everything being so formulaic. Like people need to see that rawness. People are striving for community raw. You know what I mean? I think like, and this is just talking going to business. Like everything is so perfect right now. I think once brands start to make mistakes and show that they're making mistakes,
Hmm.
like that's when brands are going to capitalize off of attention. Because everything is like so perfect. AI created everything so perfect. So
Yeah.
like if a Nike was to like spell their name wrong, like what kind of like that'd be amazing. People be
Yeah.
like, all right, Nike's human
Yeah.
too.
There's
You know
actually
what I
people
mean?
working there, right? Everything's not just
There's
going through a
people
computer.
working
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I agree with that, right? It's that's why the content from real people is important, because it shows your real life. So when right a dad shows that I've got to wake up at 4 a.m. and yeah, I was
Yeah,
just with my baby, right? Like that's real. It's not this pure perfectly curated life where you just got to run on the
yeah,
all right on in a beautiful trail, right,
yeah,
at any time of day. No, you
yeah.
had to schedule that. You had to make sure your situation was straight before you got out there. But that's like
Hmm.
every other dad, right? They
Yeah.
had to do that thing as well. So we are kind of pulling towards this almost uh, instead of attention social media,
Hmm.
but it's intentional, right? People want to
Intention.
see
Yeah,
what things that they're actually also interested in, because it's also happening in their life.
yeah,
Uh, for you,
yeah.
for the content as well, what messaging do you want other people to kind of receive as they're looking at your
Mhm.
content?
That's a great question. I battle with this sometimes. I want people to see like I'm not perfect.
Yep.
I'm a dad. I make mistakes. I'm super raw with it, but I can make it look pretty at the end of the day. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like my production background makes it look pretty. All right, I'm taking these. I'm documenting life, and obviously just putting a cherry on top because you're an entrepreneur. Like entrepreneurship is a grind, bro, and a lot of people don't see behind the scenes. But you could, with content production, you can make it look any way you want.
Yeah.
You can make it look any way you want. So I just want people to know that like I'm a real person. I make mistakes. Yeah, I'm not super scripted at the end of the day, and hopefully, I can inspire one person to show them like you can do this, right? Whatever the case may be, like you can do this. At the end of the day, like you could do honestly do whatever you want.
Yeah, I appreciate the aspect of is it's all gritty
Yeah,
and hard and it's real, right?
yeah.
But it can look pretty, right? Because it's about enjoying the process of it.
Beauty in
Because
the
like
journey.
that's exactly what it is. The beauty is in the journey. So you went on a 13-mile run and we can show that, but that shit was hard at 10 miles, right? We
Hell
had to work for
yeah.
those last two. Like in that, but that the process is what we should be rewarding and not just the end result, right? We should be
One
showing that
one thousand
process and how
percent.
it's
Life
how it's
is
going
the
down.
process.
Yeah.
Life is that journey from point A to point B. Like the journey and where you have fun and where you get your scuff marks is in between that. Like that because there's always new mountains. Like yes, we have goals and whatnot, but there's always going to be new mountains once we reach those goals.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, once you find, and I don't want to get all preachy and shit,
Please.
but once you find like that if once you fall in love with the journey and the scuff marks and all that, that's when you're successful. At least to me, I think I forgot who said it, but they said success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal, the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. So basically saying like the progression, falling in love with the process to for whatever worthy ideal, for whatever that goal is, fall in love with that process to get there is really where you're gonna find success at the end of the day.
Yeah, brother. Or you'll just be chasing it the entire
Yeah,
time, right? And
yeah.
you'll never get there. You got to enjoy kind of
You'll
where
never
you
get
are
there.
and the work.
There's no once you become you say, oh, I want $1 million. Once you become a millionaire, you're gonna be like, all right, I'm bored. Like I need something else. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's getting there. It's becoming that person you need to become to get there is where the fun is. You know,
Love that.
that's what you need to fall in love with.
As we wrap, right, I would love to hear from you. And this is kind of something I think about myself and that I've asked other people, right? So one day your kids will be our age, right? Maybe they're
Hmm.
sitting on a podcast and who knows what technology will be around then. But what do you want them to be saying about their dad, right? What do you want them to be saying about Josh? What do you want them to be
Hmm.
saying, right, when they're 60 and we're old, right?
Yeah.
What kind of dad were you? What are the things they're telling their kids about their dad?
Um. Hmm. It's a good question. I should like work backwards from that. One, I want them to say my dad was always there, whether even though he wasn't physically present, he was always there for me whenever I needed him. Um, Another thing, I want them to say that my dad always wanted the best for me. He always pushed me my hardest to be the best version of myself. And not only did he push me, he showed me that he was doing that for himself. Um, and I want them to say, my dad is the coolest. You know what I mean?
Fact.
Like my dad is cool, and my dad is stronger than you. He could
Yeah, yeah,
bench more than you.
yeah, yeah. He'll
Yeah.
run further. He's
Like
cooler
he can
than you,
run
right?
further, he can bench more than
Yeah,
you.
yeah,
Like I'm
yeah.
gonna call my dad right now to race you.
Yeah, yeah. Your dad's whack. My dad is actually strong, fast, and he's swaggy too.
Yeah.
Like say it all, let him know. Yeah.
Exactly, exactly, exactly.
No, I love
That's
that,
it.
brother. And
That's it, man.
again, appreciate the time. I appreciate your journey. Let's if you're East Coast, let's make sure we link. Let's get a run. Let's get a workout in. If I'm on the West Coast,
Yeah,
so I'm coming to you, right?
please.
And we'll make it happen. I need to that garage gym. The lighting looks great. Like I need to get in there. I need to run out from there as well.
Yeah, man. Appreciate anytime you want to come to the West Coast, you got a spot to stay, man. I'm like 4 blocks away from Nike. We
Let's
can run
go.
on the Nike campus, man. Like we have a good time.
Thank you, brother. Again, appreciate the
So
time. Means a
yeah,
lot, right? And I think
yeah,
it's really about the meshing that we get to provide to other fathers in a similar place, still trying to
yeah,
find time to be a great dad and also put some work in as from the fatherhood standpoint as well. So how can we provide a message that feels good for them? They know that we're all still in the battle, right? We're also trying to make it work, but you can put yourself first and still be a good dad at the same time.
no, I know. I
Yes.
appreciate it. I got my daughter right here. She's
Hello,
hello,
Harlow.
come. Yeah, it's probably sleepy time for her soon.
Yeah, hi,
She was like,
beautiful.
you say hi. We saying bye. We're wrapping up an interview. But yeah, no, man, I'm honored to be on here. I really, really, really appreciate it taking the time. And I mean, kudos to you though, what you're building. You know what I mean? With Well Life, with the gym, with the content. Like, as a dad of three, bro, you're crushing it, man. So I appreciate it. I'm honored to be on here. And if I can help in any way, please let me know.
Thank you, brother. We'll continue to build.
Yeah.
Put my girl down for a nap.
All right.
All right,
I
bro.
will
I'll
talk
see
to
you.
you in a
Thank
bit,
you.
man. Thank you. Okay, bye bye.
Bye bye.
You look sleepy. You're just not
Yes, you
staring
ready?
down.
All right, brother.
Okay. All right, my brother.